Hi, this is Stan with Midland College. I want to give you a little introduction about DataArc, a little introduction and orientation, maybe to expedite the process. I know some of we've had some complaints about it takes too long, so maybe I can help you out here. But we're going to go to www.dataarc.ws, all one word, and it should bring up this sign-in screen. Okay. And I'm going to sign in as an instructor right now. So this should be what you see when you log in. This is for the instructors, as an instructor. Now the first thing I want to point out to you is that I gave you, or I will give you, a password and login. First thing you really should do is go over here to Other and update my info, because simply you're probably not going to remember the information that I gave you. So right here is where you would put something in here that you can remember. First initial, last name, first name, first initial of the last name, whatever you want to do there. And then choose your own password. And so you can change this at any time. You can update it, whatever. Now the only thing you have to be concerned about here is this password. It can't be similar to any other passwords in the system. In fact, right here are the guidelines for the password. The login name can be similar to the first and last name or both, but the password must be different. So it has to begin with an alphabetical character from A to Z and can consist of alphanumeric characters only, A to Z and 0 to 9. It must be at least 5 characters long, but no longer than 20. Note that both the login name and password are not case sensitive, which that's always nice. Login name and password must be unique and not used by someone else. So if you have a version in here already, for some reason we got some people that have 2 versions. If you get into the wrong version, in other words, if you put in the wrong login name and put in a password, it won't work. So if at any time I can get in here and look at these, I will not change them. But if you need help remembering them, just call me or send me a text or something and I'll send you the information. It's not that difficult. So as we do this, we need to update my information. And so when we update it, we have to make sure up here that it says you have successfully updated your information. If for some reason you are unsuccessful in updating it, maybe your password is similar or something, then it will highlight the area that you need to, or that's not working. Put it like that. This other stuff here, you can fill it in one of these days if you're bored, but it's not absolutely necessary. In doing your evaluations for the student, there's 3 things that we ask you to evaluate. Those 3 are the daily eval, the daily log, that's their activities for the day, and then all the competencies that you think they've been successful on. And I'm going to go through each of these and kind of give you an idea of how to do these. All right, first of all, I'm logged in as the student here. And so I'm going to show you what they see and what they do. As we do their daily log, and they probably should do this in front of you with you sitting there. And so you can just put your information in there and I'll show you what that's about. So we just go to add here. All right, and so they're going to check their clinician here. All right, and at this point I'm Bugs Bunny, and I'm at Odessa Medical Center, and I'm just going to say I'm on the adult floor. and that's today's date. All right. And remember, I'm the student here. If I have any physician contact, I'm going to fill it in here, and they have to put information in here about topic and who the physician was. And then they have these. All right. Now we just have some bookmarks here that'll take you down in the middle of the document and take you directly to that. Let me just click this here, and you see it takes you to the adult critical care, the top of that list there. But see, there's lots of these here. Okay. And so what they're doing is they're going in here and saying, well, okay, you helped me put on my gown, so a couple of times, and then I did one by myself type thing. And so they're going to go in there and fill this out for all the things that are done. And I would expect the student to do this, not you. All right. And so all you're going to do is go in and verify this adult log. Right. So if you're sitting in there with them after they fill this out, before they get out of it, we're going to go all the way to the bottom of the list here. And this is where you would verify this. All right. In these two. So you just put in your instructor login name that we addressed before and your password, and then just submit the form. All right, so I would put in and just say add password. All right, so then again, up here it says thank you for filling out the validated adult form. That means that you verified it and it's pretty much correct in your eyes. Okay, so that's complete. All right, now I know a lot of the times you don't have time to sit down with the student while they're doing this and wait on them to fill it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-log in. So where I am here is I'm still in the student view, and I'm going to fill out this adult log, the daily log. Okay. And so the instructor, and this is, again, this is the student doing this. So you shouldn't spend time doing this, but have them do it. It's going to take them a couple minutes to do this because they got to fill all this stuff out. And just put some numbers. They'll have some numbers in here that you'll look at and you'll verify saying, okay, yeah, that's pretty close. Okay, I did 4 of these and I did 5 of those. And the green is performed with assistance and the blue is performed unassisted. And then for whatever reason you're busy, I know you're busy, so the student's going to go ahead and get this complete. And what it's going to do, it's going to be waiting for your verification. So you see here that it's not validated by the adult log form. Now the instructor that they put in there needs to go in, see the instructor here, Bugs Bunny, needs to go in there and validate it now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause here and I'm going to go and log out as the student and log back in as the instructor. All right, so I'm logged back in as the instructor, the clinical instructor. And the way I'm going to find this is I'm going to go over here under daily log and I'm going to say I want to run a list. All right, and just do a standard summary here, and then it gives you lots of options here. So you just choose one option from step number 1, one option from step number 2. All right, so from here I'm going to find there we go, the test student. Most time you're going to pick them out of here, but Bugs Bunny, I mean the test student's over here. All right, so my test student here, and my options, I have to choose an option here, is this date. Okay, and you can pull up the calendar there and say today, or choose whichever day you need to. or even, you know, if you have a couple of them to do, you can run this on or after or on or before thing. Okay, but it just should come up with the ones that have you as the clinical instructor. So I would say the ones that are not validated, I don't care really which ones are older than you, but the ones that are not validated are the ones we're after. So I'm just going to say full report here. And so you see there's a couple of them here. And so both of them are for 5/20/2015. The clinical instructor and validator is Bugs Bunny, and this is where they were. All right. So all I do is I'm going to click on here. It's going to take me to that document, and what you need to do here is you just need to review the document. Okay. And you have editing rights here, so you can go and say, well, no, you didn't do 4 of those. You only did 2. Okay, or whatever you need to do, or if they miss something, you can put something in there like that. So you can check on those, make sure they're reasonably correct, and then you say adult daily log modify. Whoops, I forgot one thing here, and it's going to take you back up here and say it's not validated. Okay, so right here is where you need to validate. You need to say validation yes, and then go down over here and say modify. Now it says thank you, and it's blue, and we're in good shape. It's validated. Right? So now I'm back at this page, and that top one should disappear when I refresh. Okay, because I validated, and I'm only looking for non-validated ones. So I'll do the same thing here. Come over here and say validated yes, and come over here and make changes if I need to, whatever they did. And then at the very bottom, adult daily log modify. But that's the way you find them if for some reason you weren't there with the student when they filled them out. Now I wanted to show you how to do the daily evaluation. Probably the easiest way to do that is come up here to the clinical evaluations, choose daily eval and add. All right, so this is what's going to come up. I'm going to choose the student, which would be for this time it's the test student, or you can choose one of these, but usually right there is the best place to find it. Now as we get a second year of students using this, it might be that you use the option here, class of 2016, class of 2017, and so forth. So it might be, right? So in the future that may change a little, but right now for the test student, we'll get you there. Okay, so here's the clinical instructor. Bugs Bunny's the clinical instructor, and the clinical site would be Odessa Medical Center Hospital. And then an area, all right? And again, I'm just going to do the adult floor. But like if you're in ICU, I typically just pick the medical ICU since we don't really have any designations there. But medical ICU, something like that, any of the ICUs would work. Or if you're in pediatrics, that would be down here, or neonatal. All right. So I'm just going to choose adult floor, and then put in the date. Okay. If this is not today, then you can go to the calendar there and choose the date off the calendar. And then here is the electronic version of our paperwork, basically. and the students are graded on these daily. This is your grade for them, all right? And so 5 is an exceptional grade, and 1 is unacceptable. And if you grade anything below a 3, we ask that you add some comments below. But all you do is you just go in here and you fill in the dots for whatever you thought they were doing. Okay, and it kind of gives you an idea of what a 3 would represent for that category. Okay, and so if you have comments that you need to put in here, just type them right in there. The student has an option to put theirs in there too, if they're sitting there with you when you do this. And also they have the option here to put in their login and password so that they don't have to go in later. Now, if they're not with you, you can go ahead and add this, and they can pull it up. They can run a list just like we did on the daily log, and find it, put their stamp on it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add the daily evaluation, and again, if they're with you, they can put it in there, but they can go find it and put it in later if they're not. Okay, and then thank you for taking the time to fill out. Okay, but it's not reviewed. Once this form has not been reviewed by the student, okay, so they have to go in later and look at it. That's the daily evaluation. That's the way you do that. Now filling out the competencies. There's a couple of ways you can get to the competencies. One is, right here where we filled out the daily evaluation, all we have to do is go up here to the top, and the competencies are at the very bottom here. And you can just go to add, and it'll take you to that page. So it looks like this. And so you can pick out wherever you were there, and it'll get you to those competencies. All right, so see, it's critical care competencies. Now another way that you can get there is back to the clinical instructor navigation page, because chances are you might be doing these first. I don't know. But see, if you go over here, down here to the competencies, just add here, or my favorite is this quick add competency. Right, so this is just a drop down menu of the different competencies like this. Okay, and so we're going to pick the competency that we want to add. Let's say we were doing vital signs. It takes you there. All right, now in doing these competencies, we have to tell them who the student is and where they were, medical center, hospital, and of course I'm logged in under Bugs Bunny, so I don't have to tell them who the instructor is. It's logged in under my name, so I'm the instructor. And if it was today, today's date comes up there. If it wasn't today, then you can change it with a calendar. And as you look at this, the competencies, actually the information here, this is what's expected, and you've all been through this about introduces self to the patient, stating the name, department, and confirms identification. And this can be pretty tedious about going through here and checking every step. But if you notice that all these are defaulted to say satisfactory. And so if they've met your requirement for the competency, if you think they've done a reasonable job, a good enough job to give them a satisfactory evaluation, then you don't necessarily have to go through and check those. Now, if you want to, you can. You can say it's satisfactory, unsatisfactory, not observed, non-applicable. And then you come down here, and this is what's graded right here on this required part. All right. And so here, they only get credit if it's satisfactory. If it's a minor unsatisfactory or major unsatisfactory, in other words, it might have done harm to the patient, If you let them continue, you can give them that. But if that's the case, I wouldn't even address it here. I would just, you know, because you're going to be talking to them anyway, right? So I would say satisfactory here, and then add the vital signs competency. I missed something here. So it tells me I missed the patient area, and I was on the adult floor. Okay, then I have to go back down here. My satisfactory grade is still there, and add. Now the thing about this is this is kind of the shortcut. I should only have to put that information in there, the date, the hospital, the student, one time. And so that's what this pre-fill option is about. Once you hit that add, it takes you back up here and it says, thank you for taking the time. So that means I did it right if that's the case right here. But in addition right here, this pre-fill option, what this will do, this will take you to, this will let you select other competencies, and I don't have to put all that information back in here. See, it pre-fills it with the information that was pre-done. And so then if I need to, I can come in here and adjust these evaluations. If you're happy with it, with what they did, come down, hit satisfactory, and add. So once you get the information in there one time, you don't have to add it over and over with this pre-fill option. And so that's a big time saver, all right? And so it's the same way. See, it's pre-filled in there again, all that information's in there. And you can certainly make comments here and put the conditions and the equipment used if you like. Okay, and the same idea, satisfactory. Now there is one additional competency here that I need to tell you about. I need to show it to you. Here it is. Yeah, of course it's right up at the top. Patient assessment. Now for this one, and this is the only one that I know of so far, is this is actually, and you see there's not a bunch of satisfactory steps on here that you have to worry about. But what we do here is this is actually an evaluation. This includes some chart research. And so as you download this document, and the student should do this, okay? They should download this and print this thing out. And it's a couple of pages of information. It's a pretty thorough assessment. And fill that out. And what I've told them is that you can, if they get this done and let you look at it, okay, you can come in here and sign it, but they have to turn the paperwork into me. All right, because I had a lot of people filling this out and I didn't see any paperwork. So they have to turn the paperwork into me. If you want to just put your initials on and the date on the paperwork and give them, add this assessment, that's fine. But if I don't get any paperwork from the student, they don't get credit for this assessment because they need to turn this in. All right, so you see, you can do it without submitting any kind of paperwork there. So they have to turn that into me, and I think that's the only exception there. Okay. Now, in addition, another one is this ICU performance level in medical ICU. Right, and we're in discussion with management about this, but just so we have it on the video here, this is a workload requirement put on our students, and so right here is where we would put in the expected FTE. See, it doesn't have to be a full FTE workload. It can, be 0.3 or 0.5 or 0.75 or 0.1. But in the future, we're going to utilize this, and so this is where you would do that. You'd put in, the FTE requirement, and then evaluate them here. And so hopefully what this does for us is this helps with the time management and has them able to be a step closer in their training when they graduate. They'll be ready to take a reasonable load when they get out and have some time management skills along with it. All right, well, I think that's all I wanted to cover here. I sure appreciate y'all's help and your patience with this. I know it's frustrating, but we sure appreciate it, and the students, the experience that y'all give them is invaluable. Thanks again.